Hello everyone. So this is going to be our guide to getting the Asteroids game that we were playing with, and also a little Mario clone up and running on your computers. So let's get started. So I've got an empty downloads folder, and I'm going to go to my GitHub, so zeroth.github.io, and we don't need to download everything that we did last time, just the Mongoose web server and the code editor. We don't need Quintus because we're just going to refer to it from an address on the internet. And I'll show you that when we edit the Asteroids game code. So let's grab Mongoose and Sublime. And this is a different link because 5.3 wasn't running on our computers in the lab, but any version will probably work on your home computer as long as the antivirus doesn't catch it for whatever reason. So let's download, and then we'll download the portable Windows version right here. Okay, so now you should have the compressed zip, and we'll extract that. And we'll get rid of it since we have the folder. So you should have Mongoose and Sublime. So the next step is let's make a folder for our game. So file, folder, and I'm going to call it Shooteroids. You can name it whatever you like. And let's start up Sublime, because we're going to save a file in there. So down here it's the little black with little S in it square. And I'm just going to maximize, and we're just going to save it empty for right now. If you go into your Shooteroids folder, so go to Downloads, and then here, and you can name this whatever you like, as long as it ends in HTML, so text, HTML. Okay, cool. So now if you go in there, there should be just one file. So now let's grab the source to the Asteroids game. So if you come here, you'll see My Just Code Samples, and if we go there, this is, kind of all the various samples that we've been doing, including the Zork game and the jumping game and our original game. So if you come here to Asteroids, and you can either select it here, or a little bit easier way is to click View Raw, and then you can just hit Control-A, Control-C, and then I'll just grab the whole thing. And if we go back to our Sublime text editor and just paste it in, Control-V or Edit, Paste, and save it. So File, Save. Now, if we go to our Mongoose, let's start it up. Now we have another directory for Shooteroids, and if we load it, you should see a black screen, but nothing else. So what's missing is our game sprites. So if you go here, let's see if we can make this a little bigger. Oops. There we go. Larger. Computer doesn't have a keypad, so okay. So if we scroll down in this example, you'll see that it's looking for player ship and this meteor. And I didn't create those. I actually got them from an art pack. So if we go back to our browser, you can actually do this two ways. You can find it here manually and open Game Art, and it's under the 2D art section. should be on the front page. It's called Space Shooter. But I've also included the link at the very top of our game. So here you can see the game uses images from here. So let's grab that. So if you scroll down on this page, you'll see the file Space Shooter Redux. And the download's a little slow. Just make sure it's spinning your browser. Okay, so let's extract this just like we've extracted everything else before. And in here is a whole mess of stuff, including backgrounds and add-ons and things, but all we care about is this PNG folder. So if we open it up, you can see all these ships, and indeed a meteor folder as well. And we're going to grab all of this. I'm just going to do Control-A, Control-C to grab it. And we want to take and go into our Shooteroids and create a folder called Images. And just paste it all in there. If you want a thumbnail view, it's over here. It's this little thing. You can select between details. Large icons is what I usually have for art. Okay, cool. So now, if you refresh, there you have it. So your game is up and running. And if you're interested in kind of figuring out like what makes this tick, you know, what we have is a player ship which has some controls, right? Left, right, up, and those either modify the ship's angle or give it thrust. And these kind of obscure little things here are velocity x and velocity y. And then we have an asteroid, which is pretty simple, just kind of appears, and every frame it kind of updates its angle, and that's why it's always spinning. And the level is nothing complicated other than placing a ship and an asteroid. So if you wanted, you could take this, create a new one, and put it somewhere else. So let's just say 250 and 275. And if we refresh the game, now you have 2 asteroids. And the only other special thing in this game is, normally in Quintus there's gravity, and in a space shooter there's no real desire for it, unless you were going to do some crazy thing where you were near a planet's atmosphere, constantly being dragged down, which you should, because it's awesome. So we just set gravity here to 0. And that's it for that one. So I also created another example for us to kind of learn from. It's a little more complicated because it loads some level data, but let's try it. So let's create another folder. I'm going to call it Mario. If you can't guess, it's a clone of Mario. And we're going to do the same deal. So if we're going to go in here, I'm going to create another new file, and this time we're going to go into that folder, and again, save it as a HTML. Okay, now this time, we close that out, close that, and go back here and go to the gists, and there's a run jump without HTML. And again, we'll just copy it all and paste it. Now this one also wants some sprites that we can get online. So if, again, we scroll up to the top, it says this game uses spritesheet.png from this guy. So let's go there. And this is like the kind of pixely version of the the platformer demo that we were playing before. Okay, so it's this platformer art pixel. We're going to extract. Alright, and let's get rid of these two compressed folders because they're just making a mess. Now, in this one, instead of having a bunch of individuals, we have this sprite sheet. And it's just all the images in a grid. So that's the kind of more complicated part of this example. So we're going to copy that, and we're going to again make an images folder and put it in there. So we have our project, and we have our index and our images folder. So let's try it out. Just going to go down to my Mongoose, start writing. Let's see what happened. Oh, we didn't save it. That's why. There we go. Awesome. So this game is kind of a more traditional platformer, and you can move the guy and jump. And it's not intended to be any more complicated than that, just to help you guys get the basics. Now, this level, instead of using the big level editor, I wanted to show you how to just kind of create a game from scratch. So if we look down at the bottom of this game, there's kind of two parts to it. One is we load that image that was kind of a big grid into a sheet, and we tell it kind of the sizes of things, and in this case they're 21 pixels, and you can usually count them in a pixel editor of some kind, and they also have some space between them. Not all do, but in this case they do, and they start 2 down from the outside. There's a 2 pixel border around the whole image. And then up in our level, we say that this level has a tile layer. And you can see that it has the sheet that we just loaded, and then it has this stuff called level data.json. JSON just stands for JavaScript Object Notation, and it's just like when we create players with names and things like that. And we have set that up right here. So you notice it's kind of a grid filled with zeros, and then every now and then there's some numbers. Here we see 5, 3, 3, 3, 3, 35. What those are positions in the tile set. So if we come here and open this up, 0 stands for nothing, and then so if we go to 5, it's actually 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can see that one has kind of a rounded bottom. So that's this guy right here. So you can use those numbers to look up anything in this tile set. As you can see, it gets kind of large. There's quite a bit, so play around with it. Anyways, that's all for this, and we'll get into some more advanced stuff next time.